Hello students, welcome back to our channel Mars Academy. Today's topic, in which we will be covering the other part of the chapter of key elements of democratic government. In the previous video, you must have seen that we have started with the introductory part, and the first key element was the participation. Okay, so now participation, when we talk about participation, it might be in different ways. Okay, in different ways. For example, we can say direct participation and indirect participation. Okay, so in the previous class also video we have discussed about the participation in direct and indirect way. Okay, so in direct we have talked about, for example, elections. That was a direct way of participating. Okay, but now when we talk about indirect, we have to explore the indirect, or we can say, see, indirect we can have not participating in the in the discussion sessions or so on, but we can do is like in indirect we can give suggestions. We can give suggestions to the government if they need, or we can in fact write to the government. Okay, we can write on their mail IDs and on their websites or any query. Okay, so or either we can complain. For example, you must have seen right to information. So right to information means we have full right to get all the information regarding the procedures of the government, the policies of the government, and whatever the acts they are they have implemented in the previous years. Yes, so what we were discussing, so what these are the direct and indirect ways of participation. Now in today's video we'll be seeing how people can participate in other ways. Okay, so other ways of participation. Okay, so when we talk about other ways, it will include dharnas. Okay, then you have rallies. Okay, and so we can say dharnas is, we can also say that is basically protest. Okay, protests. So these are other ways of other ways of participation. Okay, we also can say that one can criticize the government. Okay, one can support the government. It is also a way of participating. Now when we'll say, when you have seen that during protest what happens when some section, a particular section of society is not happy with a particular decision of government, what they do, they talk to the government, or if government is not listening to them, they protest. Okay, they go on protest. You might have seen nowadays, if you see news channels, there is a lot of conversation about various protests going on. Okay, so the other ways in which people can participate is, first is dharna, then we have rallies. Okay, rallies, you must have seen that people walk, they take out rallies from one point to the another. Okay, to show their point, to prove government that okay, we are not happy with your decision, and that is the reason why we are taking out a rally. Now criticize. See, people also can criticize. It is also a way of participation. For example, in August 2005, what basically happened, that people started criticizing a particular government because they increased the price of electricity and basic facilities. Okay, so when they increased the price of electricity and all the basic necessities, so people started criticizing this decision. They started criticizing the government. Okay, while some people were also there who supported it, who supported this decision because they felt that okay, this decision is good. But somehow there was criticism and support of that particular decision. Okay, so now you can see the example I am talking about. It's in your book also, August 2005. In that also you'll see that when this decision was, it was implemented, many people started protesting. Okay, they protested against that government. जो गवर्नमेंट उस टाइम पे थी उनके खिलाफ उन्होंने प्रोटेस्ट किया था. सो दे स्टार्टेड प्रोटेस्टिंग. ओके, नाउ वी कैन सी other ways of participation. One more we can add is movements. One more way of participation we can add is movements. See, still there are particular section of society which cannot raise their voice. Okay, they don't know how to criticize the government. They are not that educated, they are not that literate. Okay, they don't know how to support the government, criticize, or even they don't know how to take out the rallies. And there are some secluded sections of our society, still they exist. So what they do, they start movements. You must have heard about various movements like Chipko movement, and a lot of movements from the ancient time till now, from the ancient times in India till now. Still movements have been the part of way of participation. Okay, and these movements usually now when we see in an independent India, we'll see this thing that still the movements are going on, and when the people who are part of these movements might be different sections. For example, you can see different communities, okay, which includes schedule, tribal people, okay, the people who belong to villages, okay, and the women who are not that literate or who are secluded, okay, and various other communities. So these are all other ways of participation. You can also click a picture of this, the screenshot of this. So these are all the other ways of participation. Now the most important fact here is that participation ke liye you need knowledge, right? For participating, for making sure that okay, like this particular decision has been implemented or imposed by the government. So ये आपको information कैसे मिलेगी? How you will get this information? By media. So media plays an important role here. Okay, media plays an important role here. Because of media, people are getting aware of what government is doing, or what government is planning to do. Okay, so media is a source of knowledge. It is a source of knowledge because somehow media also gives you the information. It also covers the protests, the rallies. They also go to normal people, and they also take their suggestions that what government can do. So media also plays an important role. क्योंकि आपने जैसे देखा होगा, if you will see your news channels, so you will see that people are the reporters of any particular channel. What they do, they go and ask the normal people that how this particular decision is impacting your life. Okay, so here are some crucial we can say, yes, so this is some crucial role. This is a crucial role of media while in the other ways of participation. This is the crucial role of media in terms of other ways of participation. Okay, now the next topic we'll see. Now you can see that there is criticism, people do protest. If you see, in the beginning of the chapter, we have also discussed how the protest was going on in South Africa, right? So, some protests, they often, some protests, see, now, some protests, they often get worse. Okay, for example, the case study in which we the case study which we have done in the previous video, you will be able to see that the South Africa's protest, it turned into a nightmare for the government because a boy was shot and he was dead. Okay, so violence is the most it is the most harmful thing. So जब एक protest में violence add on हो जाता है, so what it happens, it becomes a conflict. So government also should take care of this thing, that there should be a peaceful way of participation, but that peaceful way of participation should not, it should not convert into a conflict. See, conflict is basically when a particular section with the other particular section of a society, they start using violence, using other harmful ways of participating in the society, or they want to make sure that okay, you should listen to our point. So there should be a healthy and a peaceful environment while participating. बट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कब आता है, जब लोगों में लड़ाई झगड़ा होने लग जाता है. क्या होने लग जाता है? लड़ाई झगड़ा. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की जब हम बात करते हैं, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का मतलब ही क्या होता है? कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मीन्स व्हेन अ पर्टिकुलर thing is not being solved in a particular manner. Okay, when there are differences between people, differences between between the groups, between the communities. So those differences, when they we can say those differences, when they turn into a harmful thing for the society, we can say it is a conflict. Okay, now need to resolve conflict, it is the most important thing. Okay, so need to resolve conflict में क्या होता है? Basically the government has to make sure, it has to make sure that whatever the conflicts are there, whatever the problems are there, they need to sort it out, they need to sort it out. Okay, so आज की क्लास में हमने अभी तक क्या डिस्कस किया? अदर वेज ऑफ पार्टिसिपेशन, इन विच वी इंक्लूडेड प्रोटेस्ट, रैलीज, मूवमेंट्स, and the important role of media. Then we talked about what is conflict, and in the next class we'll be studying about how one can resolve the conflict, or what are the needs, why it is important to resolve the conflict.
इस क्लास की पूरी सिलेबस की वीडियोस को देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें हमारे चैनल को और साथ ही बेल आइकन प्रेस करें.